shortly after that, like in 2014, you ended up being on season 6 of Drag Race.
I'm feeling my oats. Let me feel my oats.
How many times did you audition for that, and did you actually enjoy the experience on season 6?
I tried out one time. Other than Jade's season, I really kind of lost. Well, I didn't lose interest. I had still followed the show. I just wasn't that closely involved. So I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, to be honest. I kind of grew up a little, I don't want to say sheltered, but I mean, I grew up in a suburb. So I didn't grow up in the city of Chicago. So I think I missed out on a lot of like knowing what Hollywood was and really understanding. But my photographer, Nestor, at the time, he really inspired me to try out and did all the work, like basically did the whole video for me, told me where to stand, what to do. Cause at the time I was like, girl, I can't be bothered. Like I'm trying to become a hairdresser. You know, I'm really trying to stay focused and I'm not trying to do drag for a living. Like that's for sissies. We're gay men. Who wants to even like do drag? Like I just didn't really understand, but I tried out. I got a call back. And I just remember getting that call and I was working at the salon and I was like, I quit. Sorry, I'm going to Hollywood. And that was it.
And that's when you were introduced on our screens. When you walked through that room and you saw the other girls and you saw the Hollywood setup and how everything was it kind of what you thought it was going to be in your head or totally opposite?
To be honest, I don't even remember. It was like all one big dream. And to be honest, a lot of those years for me, I think were low-key dark. I just didn't know that they were dark. And I think I've kind of like blocked them out a little bit. So it's hard to remember seriously that far back sometimes. But I definitely remember like feeling like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, this is obviously like, I just didn't understand that like I was in Hollywood and I was creating a TV show and this was such a big opportunity. I was like, okay, you guys are gagging and living for me. Duh, I'm the shit. Like, girl, get me a water and do your job and take my room, you know? But like,
Just got off the boat, you know, a little trip from Asia, just landed like fresh tilapia.
it was a good experience. You know, I think the best thing that I left the season with was one of my best friends, Laganja Stranja. Just really being able to gain like a good friend, I think was like the most positive thing that I got out of the show. Also just gaining experience, right? Learning how to work in front of a camera. But see, at that time when I was filming that, I was like virgin. I didn't know. So I wasn't like performing. I was just being me. And I think that's why season 6 is such a fucking good season, because people weren't so calculated back then. Queens were just trying to like make good TV and just like no one had really figured it out yet. Yeah. But I definitely had a great time. I'm very thankful for that time. I will always have great memories, just like with Bianca and Courtney and Adore and Darian and like just great times, you know?
When you were leaving, your exit line that you ended up saying was,
You guys are all still dudes.
Looking back in that, reflecting on that, do you think that had anything to do with you being a transgender woman and not realizing who you fully were?
It's so funny you bring this up because I actually just rewatched that episode like 2 nights ago and I gagged. I was like, I can't believe that I even like said that. Like, what was going through my brain? I grew up with trans women, so, and also trans women doing drag. So that being the lens that I was seeing everything out of, obviously I was trained that femininity was key. Anything that remotely looked like a dude or like wasn't feminine, it was like wrong or bad or just not valid drag. I came from Chicago, again, which is like the home of Miss Continental and like all the like glamorous trans queens. The scene has now evolved, but you have to remember I'm a mini dinosaur. So back then it was, you know, all about glamour. So that's just the school of drag that I came from. And I think I went into season 6 just, like I said, girl, I didn't know what was really going on. I didn't know that I was going to be teamed up with, you know, all these different kind of drag queens. And nobody schools you to go to Drag Race. Like, that's literally a book that someone needs to write. Like, there's no school. And I think my feelings were hurt that I was being eliminated. And I had Milk there who was portraying a male. I just didn't understand, you know, I just simply was ignorant to other types of drag. I mean, do you blame me? Like, I came from the cuntiest, like, drag capital in the nation. So it was like, not my fault, I feel, you know, I was just being genuine, and my feelings were hurt because I had lost to someone that I felt wasn't doing as good of a job.
Yeah.
And when you put all this time, money, and effort into something, you know, you want the best results. And so I think deep down inside, yes, I was frustrated. I think I was at that time very confused. Also, I just didn't really know. And truthfully, I was just ignorant.
Yeah.